Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and commentary by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Chapter 4, Text 34. It's a well-known verse, and those of you who know it can chant it after me. Oh, there are no word-for-word synonyms here. What's going on? You have it with synonyms. Okay, that's better. Who's publishing this without... That Prabhupada wouldn't approve of that. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tatvadarshinaha. Okay, someone else chant. Mataji's? Do you have the Russian translation there in the book? Okay, so go ahead, read. No, read, okay. Tat vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninaha tattva darshinaha. Okay, make some more space over there so that these visitors can sit moving this way so you don't have your back to Srila Prabhupada. Now we're having an initiation ceremony. The first ever initiation ceremony I attended was 50 years ago when I was initiated. So today is my 50th spiritual birthday. Many take initiation, vowing to follow the principles and to chant prescribed number of rounds daily. Unfortunately, even after taking initiation, coming to the stage of committing to following these vows, not all strictly follow the vows that they have taken. So I can simply beseech all of you, those who are taking initiation now, and those who have already taken initiation, to take your vows most seriously. For sure there will be many tests. It's an easy process, but Maya will give many tests. There may be serious, severe tests. But we should have the determination that whatever happens, I must stick to Krishna consciousness. Recently, I heard of a disciple who had the distressing experience, highly distressing experience, that her only son, who she loved very much, died. He was just a teenager. And she became angry at Krishna, thinking, why have you done this to me? She still maintains some kind of belief in Krishna, but she's not following strictly. Among other things, she's eating eggs, which is against the principles. So please take seriously all your vows. It's more than 4 regulated principles and 16 rounds. There are so many rules to follow. We've been reading from the Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. In that Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, there are many rules given, and even there are many more rules which are not in the Nectar of Devotion. And I tend to stress these rules more than others, leaders, spiritual leaders within this movement do. So being initiated by me isn't going to be so easy, because I want to see that at least my disciples are following in the best possible way. The rules are not arbitrary, they have a purpose. They're to help us come closer to Krishna and to restrain us from activities and habits that will impede our advancement in Krishna consciousness. So please take seriously not just your initiation vows, but as you're going to be my disciple, take seriously all my instructions. There is some propaganda, which you may be aware of, that I am too strict and you can't follow everything that I say, but actually there's nothing difficult. The other day I was talking about eating chocolate, and no one's forcing you to eat chocolate, and you can live healthily without chocolate. So when I say don't eat chocolate, you may think it's a terrible restriction, but it's not. It's not at all. I can vouch for that. I'm just one human being who didn't eat chocolates for more than 50 years. And believe it or not, there was no chocolate in Russia until relatively recently, or in Georgia for that matter, or tea for that matter, or coffee, and all these things. So you can follow. And you should know that when I say these things, it's not to torture anyone. If you think it's a torture, then maybe you shouldn't be getting initiated by anyone. If you think that these rules are too difficult to follow, or that you don't want to do whatever is required to become Krishna conscious. Where did I get the idea for all these restrictions and rules? Well, I'm simply conveying what is given in Guru Parampara, what previous acharyas conveyed, and that's my duty as a guru, to give transcendental knowledge in Guru Parampara. The first installment of transcendental knowledge is to distinguish reality from illusion. That's there in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, reality distinguished from illusion for the welfare of all. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, we have the distinction between Sat and Asat, which means that which is eternal and that which is not eternal, that which is proper and that which is not proper. So this is the beginning of spiritual knowledge, to distinguish between reality and illusion, between that which should be done and that which should not be done, and to instruct disciples in these principles is the duty of a guru for their benefit. So it's my sacred duty to do so, even though doing so is going to be unpopular. But if we don't follow this, then we can't avail of the gifts that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give. You can't, as it's saying in English, you can't have your cake and eat it. You can't have Krishna Prem and at the same time perform activities which are detrimental for advancement in Krishna consciousness. So I'm saying this at this function because there have been many disappointments. Some time ago, a supposed to be disciple of mine, who was supposed to be a brahmachari and a brahmana, entered into a shameful liaison, association with a married woman, which led to her divorce. And to make it worse, this so-called disciple expressed no regret. He said, "Oh, well, I was helping her because she didn't like her husband." He was desiring to protect that foolish woman, and he dragged her into sin in the name of helping her in Krishna consciousness. So, such rascaldom. We hate the sin and not the sinner, as Lord Jesus Christ said. And yes, we are all weak, and Maya is very strong. However, you take vows and you have to follow them, and it's very harmful to yourself not to do so, painful to anyone who cares. All devotees should care if someone falls down in Krishna consciousness. And it negatively affects the preaching of Krishna consciousness. It's when newcomers see that devotees are following what they say, then they get more faith in the process. But if they see that it's just taken lightly, well, it doesn't matter, so many fell down, then they won't get the determination themselves to follow what they need to follow so they can become Krishna conscious. And especially when those who are initiated by myself fall down like this, it affects my preaching also, because then this false propaganda gets exacerbated that, well, you see, no one can follow all these things. You can follow, but you have free will. And if you misuse it, then you fall down. So on this occasion, you're taking a vow, take it very seriously, because I'm taking a strong stand against various forms of rascaldom, and therefore I fervently request my disciples to not indulge in such nasty behavior that will spoil your progress in Krishna consciousness. Just be aware, we got this human life after so many births. Now we have the opportunity to be Krishna conscious, but then we just take it very lightly and we just don't bother following, or we get tested by Maya and we succumb. Instead of seeing that such and such happened, which I find very distressing, well, see, by the transcendental science, that this world is full of distress by its very nature. And as long as we're in this world, we will have to suffer various kinds of distress. We can't avoid that. Don't blame it on Krishna. It may be very severe distress. Study Shastra, you'll see. Whatever distress you have, it's not going to be more than that of, well, a great example is Harish Chandra, who underwent so much, was put into so much distress. And we have Prahlad Maharaj, the Pandavas, so many examples of those who did not succumb to going away from Krishna consciousness, but rather the tests just increased their faith in Krishna more and more and more. So don't spoil your progress in Krishna consciousness and bring infamy upon yourself or disrepute upon yourself and your guru and the whole process of Krishna consciousness. We should all be sworn to our initiation vows, and one major point in this is we should be very careful and restrained in dealings with the opposite sex, because that's warned in Shastra that it leads to fall down, and it does lead to fall down, and it has led to so many fall downs, and so therefore we should be careful, as Shastra enjoins us to do. And if there's any sign of any improper dealings between devotees in terms of sexual misconduct, it may just be very subtle in the beginning, but it can very quickly lead to gross fall down. We don't underestimate Maya. In this regard, I'm going to read from a transcript of a lecture that Srila Prabhupada gave on the 20th of March 1971. Srila Prabhupada said, "If you don't like to surrender, who can make you obliged to surrender? Surrender is voluntary. Yes, I surrender. Determination. Yes, I surrender. Who can make you obliged to surrender? Nobody can make. Even Krishna cannot work. This is a false pretense. Please be merciful upon me so that I may surrender." Have you ever heard anyone say that? Give me your blessing so that I can follow. But it's up to you. Srila Prabhupada continued, if you do not surrender, what will my mercy do? Be merciful to me so that I can serve. Zero. You know that incident? A man has fallen in the well and he is crying, "Please get me up, get me up." Another man drops a rope. "Please catch it." And then if he says, "Be merciful to me so that I can take a hold of the rope," is that a very good arrangement, a very good argument? When you're merciful, I'll be able to hold on to the rope. Is that an argument? You catch it, then he'll help you to get out. And if you don't catch it, how will he help you? What is the use of speaking? Be merciful, be merciful. He is already merciful, giving you the rope. Why don't you take it? So these are all false pleadings. If you want to surrender, you can surrender yourself. If you don't want to surrender, then there will be so many, "Please, sir, be merciful so that I can surrender unto you." Surrender is in your hands. If you like, you can. If you don't like, don't surrender. There is no question of being merciful. Mercy is already there. Erupe brahmanda brahmite kono bhagyavan jeev guru krishna kripai pai bhakti lata bij. Kripa, the mercy is already there. Krishna is coming. Krishna is sending his representative. Krishna is giving you advice in the Bhagavad Gita. If you don't take advantage of it, then who can deliver you? Krishna is personally coming. Krishna is sending you his representative. Krishna has left Bhagavad Gita. Then what else do you want? But if you are determined not to surrender, then how can Krishna and the Shastra and the Guru help you? Nobody can help you. Then you are hopeless. That is up to you to surrender or not to surrender. And because they do not surrender, they are suffering. Willful negligence. If you become willfully negligent, then who can help you? Nobody can help you. Nobody can help you, neither Krishna nor Shastra. Instead of willful negligence, there must be willful cooperation. Then it will be successful. These are all pleas, so that will not do. The Sahajiyas will show, "Oh sir, you are so merciful, but when he says something, don't do this. Oh, that I cannot accept." So how will it help? I am very much obedient to you, but I shall not care for any one of your words. I am so obedient. So how is it that Krishna or Guru or Shastra can help him? Nobody can help. You must be a willing cooperator, then it will be possible, otherwise not possible, then one is doomed. Another quote from a lecture by Srila Prabhupada, this one is on 21st of July 1973. You learn how to drive an airplane. You go high in the sky, but if you are in danger, no other airplane can help you. You are finished. Therefore, you must be a very careful pilot to take care of yourself. Similarly, in this material world, everyone individually has to take care of himself, how he can be saved from the clutches of Maya. That is the Krishna consciousness movement. A teacher can give you hints. The Acharya can give you hints that you can be saved in this way. But the execution of the duties is in your hand. If you perform the spiritual duties rightly, then you are saved. Otherwise, even if the Acharya gives you instruction, if you don't follow, how can he save you? He can save you by instruction, by his mercy as much as possible. But you have to take it in your hands seriously. Now, these are very heavy words from Srila Prabhupada. Guru means heavy. Strong words are needed because we are deeply in Maya. In any bona fide spiritual path, it is understood that gurus are meant for leading their disciples out of sense gratification so that their consciousness will become purified and they can advance toward love of God. I'm very concerned at certain trends within devotee society nowadays that are dragging us further and further away from the ideals given by Srila Prabhupada. Recently I was told that there is a trend among teenage girls who have been raised in Krishna consciousness to post photos of themselves in sexy poses with revealing poses on the Instagram or whatever. Isn't that horrible? Shameless. It's all going on in the name of what? Liberal Krishna consciousness. I was told that a Russian devotee leading a group coming to India told the group members in India which biscuits and chocolates to buy, because these are the ones that our guru likes the best, and which stores you can get them from. That reminded me of one of the instructions of Lord Rishabhadev, which we'll find in the 5th canto of Bhagavatam. Rishabha says, if one puts into the bondage of karmic activity his disciple, son or citizen who is bereft of transcendental vision, how will one profit? It is like leading a blind man to a dark well and causing him to fall in. Unfortunately, the case of this Maharaj is not unique. One devotee told me that his guru likes to drink green tea and was trying to encourage his disciple to do so also. But a guru is supposed to teach by his personal example how to execute devotional service in a manner that is favorable, conducive to advancement in Krishna consciousness. Anukulyasya sankalpa, accepting all that is favorable for advancement in devotional service, and pratikulyasya varjanam, forswearing all that is unfavorable. Anukulyena krishnanushilanam. So it's hard to understand how eating food prepared by non-devotees, such as chocolate and biscuits, and drinking green tea can help the disciple advance in Krishna consciousness. What's the Krishna conscious motive there? We have to respect and congratulate those who have taken the heavy burden of accepting disciples for the purpose of training them, as Srila Prabhupada trained us for serving Krishna. But it's hard to understand how Srila Prabhupada would be satisfied by his disciples recommending or encouraging their own disciples to take chocolate, biscuits prepared by non-devotees, and drinking green tea. Then we have the whole phenomenon of kirtan melas, which should be good, right? Chant Hare Krishna all day, advancement in Krishna consciousness. But then we wonder about the spiritual status of some of the most popular kirtaniyas who are paid to fly in because they sing very nicely, but we don't know what their spiritual status is. If they actually follow the 4 regulated principles strictly, chant 16 rounds, what is their philosophical understanding? I know that one of them regularly chants Om Namo Shivaya, which is not taught to us by any of our acharyas, Vaishnava acharyas, and reportedly he started doing so at kirtan melas among ISKCON devotees. And I was also told that there's one popular kirtaniya, means popular in ISKCON and maybe other places also, who was raised in a devotee family, and he sings very nicely, and he's called to kirtan melas because he sings very nicely, but he openly states, I'm an atheist. But he sings nicely. It's hard to imagine that Srila Prabhupada would approve of this. And so we wonder why ISKCON-approved gurus promote this kind of thing and participate in it. Just yesterday or the day before, I was told that a guru on Balaram Purnima, in a talk to devotees, spoke on the subject of how to be a financial success. What's going on? And this should be a cause for great concern. What's going on? What happened to the pure principles of devotional service? How there's so much compromise with various forms of sense gratification mixed with devotional service. And this coming from the top, gurus, GBC should be aware, say something, do something. Unlikely. The principle is pure devotional service. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnanakarmadhyanaavritam anukulyena krishnanushilanam bhaktiruttama. To execute devotional service. We may not be on the totally pure platform, but we have to practice in such a way that we don't cultivate material desires or desires for impersonal liberation. Practice Krishna consciousness in a way that is favorable for advancing in Krishna consciousness. But there are so many wild ideas floating around and so many strange practices. Now you may wonder why I'm saying this at an initiation ceremony on this very happy day of Janmashtami. It's a festival, it's very happy. But it should be said, it's hoped that basically all the gurus in ISKCON say the same thing, more or less. But what I say is different enough that it causes tension within the movement. We don't want to stress out the devotees, but some things need to be said. And those who are my disciples or want to be my disciples should know that it can be difficult for you because of being connected with me and you're likely to hear criticism of myself for not going along with so much nonsense which has become part of the so-called following of Krishna consciousness today. So don't be sentimental, try to understand why I speak out on various issues. What is the philosophical understanding? What is the philosophical basis of pure devotional service? And stick to that. And at the same time, you should know what is proper and what is not. But at the same time, if you see devotees who have been practicing Krishna consciousness for many years, who are senior to you, if they're doing something which philosophically you can understand is not exactly right, then don't become offensive or critical or have an elitist mentality that just see, or that's also a cause of fall down, to start thinking we're so much better, and so on and so on. We're also having Brahmana initiation, as I've said many times. Even though I am quite selective generally in giving Brahminical initiation, I'd like to be much more selective. I'd like to see what Srila Prabhupada wanted, creating a new class of Brahmanas who are really learned in Shastra, very strict in their following, clearly distinguished from others. But anyway, I'm not stopping to give Brahminical initiation, and I'm not condemning those who take. Best are those who are recommended by others to take Brahminical initiation rather than pushing themselves forward because they want to take, or they have some misconception that Gayatri mantra is more powerful than the Maha mantra, or whatever strange ideas may be there. So we can have the initiation now. I hope those of you who are going to take initiation were aware of all the of my position, and if you want to think about it more or back out, you still have time. Otherwise, you can come forward now. There aren't hundreds.